My name is Julio Marquez, and I'm telling you my story from Miami, but my heart is in Santiago. A part of me will always remain in Chile, and with the beautiful, bloodless revolution of my compañero, Salvador Allende. Allow me to tell you the story of a peaceful man, committed towards transforming an unjust society through his peaceful Chilean way, who fell victim to the cynical powers of the world.
¡Viva México! ¡Viva Chile! ¡Viva Latinoamérica unida! Hay jóvenes viejos y viejos jóvenes, y en estos me ubico yo. Esos jóvenes viejos no se preguntan cuántas viviendas faltan en nuestros países, y a veces ni en su propio país. Hay muchos médicos que no comprenden que la salud se compra y que hay miles y miles y miles de hombres y mujeres en América Latina que no pueden comprar la salud. De igual manera que hay maestros que no se inquietan, que haya también cientos y miles de niños y de jóvenes que no pueden ingresar a las escuelas. En América Latina hay más de 30 millones de cesantes absolutos y la cifra se eleva por sobre 60 millones, tomando en consideración aquellos que tienen trabajos ocasionales. Para que termine esta realidad brutal se requiere un profesional comprometido con el cambio social. Se necesitan profesionales que no busquen engordar en los puestos públicos, en las capitales de nuestras patrias.
I first met Salvador in 1929, when we were young medical students at the University of Chile. He was a very studious and ambitious boy. I would be out on the town late at night, chasing girls at the bar, and come back in the dead of night to find him reading Hegel, Marx, Proudhon, and other things that were way over my head and pretty much everybody else's. However, we shared one thing, a deep sense of worry for the terrible condition of millions of Chileans.
Que el estudiante de medicina y el médico confrontan hechos sociales muy claros. Nosotros aprendimos muy rápidamente que a mayor enfermedad, mayor pobreza, que a mayor pobreza, mayor enfermedad.
To be young and to not be a revolutionary is a contradiction of one's very biology. Salvador was imprisoned as a student in 1932 by Chile's military government for supporting socialist activity. He was crushed to hear of the death of his father while in captivity. I was by his side at his father's funeral, where he pledged to dedicate his life to helping the most disadvantaged people in society wipe away coercion and privilege. Only 3 months later, Salvador and I co-founded the Socialist Party of Chile.
O bien campesinos, o bien, en el caso de Cautín, mapuches, a quienes sus tierras les fueron robadas hace muchos años, que han vivido con media hectárea de tierra, ¿no? Raza desconocida, negada, ¿no? Degradada física y moralmente. Tiene una serie de factores que influyen, y usted comprende que para ellos se abre una posibilidad. Y cuando se tiene hambre, a veces es muy difícil razonar, sobre todo cuando no se tiene una cultura de un nivel político, y cuando se ha sido siempre engañado, cuando se les ha hecho promesas durante más de un siglo, y sus abuelos, y sus padres, y ellos han sido frustrados y negados, lógicamente esa gente no está premiada por una realidad brutal, que es comer todos los días. Pero
Allende was a revolutionary Democrat. He sought to strike back against the poverty which drowned so many of our brothers and sisters, and to end the inequality that crippled Chile. However, he believed in doing so peacefully, and not through a violent revolution. We were over the moon when Salvador was elected to the Senate in 1945. At the time, we had no idea of just how far the movement would eventually stretch. He climbed the political ranks, making us proud as we watch one of us become vice president of the Senate. With his popularity, we would in time build a beautiful and unique movement. I will always remember the magic of the 1960s and Unidad Popular. Unidad Popular captured the public imagination not only through its political platform, but through a vibrant campaign of the muralistas. We felt empowered really for the first time. The beautiful work which you see before you inspired us all. They popped up all over the place, and we felt liberated by how free we were to put them up anywhere and anytime. Allende would run for president and come up short in 1952, 58, and 64. However, with Unidad Popular, the late 60s would be different. Allende was able to help heal the rifts of Chilean society and bring together workers, students, indigenous peoples, and professionals of all ages and races under the umbrella of Unidad Popular. Support poured in from all across the globe. With this unlikely, incredible movement, eventually, in 1970, Salvador Allende and Unidad Popular gained power and the presidency of Chile.
Si nuestra tierra nos pide, tenemos que ser nosotros los que levantemos Chile. Así es que a poner el hombro, vamos a llevar las riendas de todos nuestros asuntos y que de una vez se entiendan, hombre y mujer todos juntos, porque esta vez no se trata de cambiar un presidente, será el pueblo quien construya un Chile bien diferente, porque esta vez no se trata de cambiar un presidente, será el pueblo quien construya un Chile bien diferente.
Chile had its big boy pants on. We spent our nights and weekends organizing, meeting, and planning our next day of community service or outreach. It is difficult to describe to you just how inspired we were in those days, and just how strongly we felt that we were going to change the future. We felt like we were on top of the world. I remember sitting in my home in Santiago, hearing on the news that unemployment had fallen from 9% to 3.8%, and that inflation had fallen by more than 2 times since the last president. But I didn't need all these numbers and statistics to know that my country was happy, well-fed, and not short of work. I could see it in the eyes and the smiles of all my neighbors. But amidst all the celebrations and joy and progress, trouble was brewing under the surface. Allende threatened many powerful interests, and so, of course, the lies started flowing in. The president was a communist. He wanted to steal your land. He wanted to ban the church and make us worship Marx and Lenin. Knowing Salvador, I knew these lies to be laughable, but an attempt to unseat a democratically elected leader is no laughing matter. The man was friendly to communists, sure, but he would never harm a flea. Sadly, it was his enemies who resorted to violence. While we peacefully went about our lives, trying to build a better and more just society, the United States government was plotting to destroy our dream. After meeting with his cabinet, as well as the CEOs of the multinational vampires Pepsi-Cola, Chase Bank, and AT&T, President Richard Nixon issued the following message to CIA Director Richard Helms. Not concerned risks involved. No involvement of embassy. $10 million available to CIA, more if necessary. Full-time job. Best men we have. Make the economy scream. 48 hours for plan of action. But you don't have to take my word for it. Why don't you listen to them in their own words and make up your mind?
Yeah.
Mr. Ziegler?
Yes, sir. Have you said anything, Ron, with regard to the ITT in Chile? How did you handle
The State Department dealt with that today.
Oh, they did?
Yes, sir.
What did they do? Deny it?
They denied it, but they were cautious on how they dealt with the Corey statement because they were afraid that might backfire.
What did Corey say?
Well, Corey said that he had received instructions to do anything short of a Dominican type, alleged to have said that.
Corey did?
Right.
So how'd that get out? He put that out?
Well, Anderson received that from some source. Al Haig is sitting with me now.
Oh, yeah.
It was a report contained in an IT&T thing, but
Well, he was instructed to.
well, but
I hoped it, but he just failed. That's his main problem. He should have kept Allende from getting in.
Amigos chilenos llamaron a este símbolo la araña. A nosotros nos traía recuerdos. Su gran cantidad de garfios nos hacía pensar en la historia alemana. Cruz esvástica y araña. Nacionalismo torpe y anticomunismo ciego. Dos componentes fundamentales del fascismo.
Jóvenes, ¿están dispuestos a morir por sus ideales? ¡Sí, señor! ¿Están dispuestos a morir por sus ideales? ¡Sí, señor!
Soon enough, the squeeze became too tight to fight. Extreme militants of the military attempted a coup in June 1973, but failed. Only weeks later, they would succeed. General Augusto Pinochet saw his opportunity to grab power amidst the chaos. My friend Salvador, the family man, the gentle medical student, now faced a terrible fate.
La última oportunidad en que me pueda dirigir a ustedes. La Fuerza Aérea ha bombardeado las torres de Radio Portales y Radio Corporación. Mis palabras no tienen amargura sino decepción, y serán ellas el castigo moral para los que han sonado el juramento que hicieron. Soldados de Chile, comandantes en jefe, titulares, y el almirante Merino que se ha autodesignado, más el señor Mendoza, general rastrero, que solo ayer manifestara su fidelidad y lealtad al gobierno, también será nominado director general de Carabineros. Tantos hechos. Solo me cabe decirle a los trabajadores, yo no voy a renunciar. Colocado en un tránsito histórico, pagaré con mi vida la lealtad del pueblo. Y les digo que tengo la certeza que la semilla que entregáramos a la conciencia digna de miles y miles de chilenos no podrá ser cegada definitivamente. Tienen la fuerza, podrán avasallarnos, pero no se detienen los procesos sociales ni con el crimen ni con la fuerza. La historia es nuestra y la hacen los pueblos.
Yes, perhaps I make a saint out of Allende. He was near and dear to my heart, and I have committed to let people know the grave injustice he suffered for the simple crime of trying to heal a fractured nation. In the face of violence and hate, he retained his belief in the peaceful Chilean way. Just as in 1890 with Balmaceda and 1932 with Montero, Allende was killed for daring to fight for justice in the face of corrupt power. You do not have to believe everything that I say, but one thing I ask of you: never forget the story of Salvador Allende and his relentless quest for justice.